Well, look at this article here. It's pretty interesting. Americans might welcome the news of ET, how people would react psychologically if we found microbe aliens, evidence of non-intelligent extraterrestrial life, but bona fide life. That's interesting. But look at what they've done for this. They've resurrected this ridiculous Mars rock thing. They found a rock at the South Pole and claimed it fell from Mars and that it had microscopic bacteria in it. And look at this. They made people read these two articles. One about Craig Ventnor making a synthetic bacterial cell, and the other one, which he didn't completely succeed with. He hasn't made a membrane yet, but he did make the DNA, which is super achievement. And it says here, this was evidence that piece of Mars rock for microbes living on Mars. And they said people responded okay with that. They weren't too upset. That rock had, they thought they saw bacteria in the rock in the microscope. It was really turned out to be cracks in the pyroxene matrix of the rock. Pyroxene is known to be a deep layer plutonic rock, and so it really, for it to get out of deep underneath the surface of Mars and then fall here, something awful big must have hit Mars and then knocked it out of there, and to have bacteria survive that whole collision and then fly through space and land here even as a fossil. Well, it was just cracks in the rock and microscopic cracks, but they keep bringing this thing up, tickling their fancy that there would be live microbes on Mars. This guy at NASA said even if we do find live bacteria on Mars, they probably drifted there on the solar wind from our planet and didn't even originate there. That's logical rather than saying life evolved on Mars separately. Look what it says here about the people's reactions. It says, well, the Martian meteorite's been around for a long time and nothing bad has happened. Oh, it depends on what you think is bad. At that time, one of the world's leading atheist scientists said, this will be the end of organized religion on this planet. I think that's bad. He's going to say, well, it proves there's no God since life exists on another planet. We're not special and we're not the apple of God's eye. I think that was bad. They jumped the gun, but they keep bringing up this rock every 5 or 10 years, hoping that maybe it'll, I don't know, encourage them in the faith that E.T. is out there and that E.T. wasn't made by God. So ipso facto, neither were we. Okay, take a look at this last thing here. It says that people might not be too upset to find out that little green men are real. Oh my. Since they wouldn't mind it. Oh yeah. Another report that an asteroid could be an alien spaceship heading towards us. Yeah, well, that's also pretty nastily dumb. Well, okay, the broader public might take kindly to the little green men. You know, they were in H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds radio broadcast. They didn't, but maybe they would now, since we have so many fiction things that have friendly aliens. But here's something interesting from a blast from the past 50 years ago when they found these signals making blip, 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 blip signals coming on radio telescopes when they were first developed in the late 60s. And now the update says that now we know those are pulsars. And it's kind of funny because back in the day when they first found those, they cataloged them like Messier cataloging the galaxies and the near galactic cluster, NGC, all these different things, quasi-stellar object. When those were classified as LGMs, LGM 55, LGM 86, and later we found out they were the pulsars, but LGM stood for little green men. So they wanted to jump the gun and say they found intelligent life out in the galaxy, but really it was just pulsar stars sending those regular radio blips to us, some many, many times a second. Well, anyway, that's the attitude of people that rather believe in little green men than believe in God and would welcome the little green men or even little green bacteria more than they would say we would have this man to be king over us. They say, as in the parable, Jesus said, we will not have this man to rule over us. And so they want the emancipation and the freedom of atheism, like believing there's no God makes there no God. I guess if he was make-believe, that would be true, but that gets into fantasy and not into reality. Remember, the Lord is, he says, I am that I am, so he must be there. And we see lots of other evidences, intelligent design and other things like that. You keep thinking.